In this video, we're going to discuss the control bars function found within the container plugins in the control folder. Now, this control bars function will allow us to give control to the producers or trio operator to make their own bar charts and to adjust them numerically however they see fit. And to use this control bars, we need to use them in conjunction with another set of plugins found within the presenter folder. So the bar and the bar values presenter plugins are going to be used in conjunction with this control bars plugin found within the control folder. And to set this up, first thing that I'm going to do is drag a group down, and I'm just going to name this first group main. So we'll just call this one main. I'm going to set another group inside of this group, and I'm going to call this one bar values. So I'm going to use a cube to create my bars, and I'm going to start by dragging this cube into my bar values. This cube is now a subcontainer of that, and I'm going to go into my cube editor, and here where it says center Y, I'm going to set the center point to bottom since we want our bars to grow up from the bottom. So this is my first bar. Now I also need to add a text element so that when the bar grows, our text automatically grows with it. So within the server, I'm just going to find a font that I can use, and we're going to drag this font down as a subcontainer of this cube as well. Now I'm just going to come into the font, and I'm just going to readjust a little bit. Now I need to go back into built-ins, and I'm going to go into the presenter folder to drag our bar onto our cube. I'm also going to drag a bar onto our text, and then I'm going to drag the bar values onto my bar value container. Now I'm going to go into my bar first to set this, and we need to set the parameter type here. Since I want it to grow on the Y, what I'm going to do is type in under the parameter name here size underscore Y, and that's going to tell it to grow on the Y scale. I'm going to hit initialize. Now I'm going to go into my bar function on the text, and in this case the parameter name we want to go text. So I'm going to change it to text, and the text type should be integer. So I'm going to change that as well. And now when we change that, you can see how that also changed the text into a number. So now I'm just going to reset this number a little bit. I'm going to reposition it on the X, and I'm going to go into my cube here, and if I just want to reposition this as well. If we come into our bar values, I'm going to test this real quick by changing the bar value here. So as I start to raise this, you can see how it not only changes the cube size, but it also changes the numeric value of that text. From here, it's a matter of copying. So we're going to add a couple more cubes here. Let's do 4, and I'm just going to spread these out on the X here. So once I have them all spread out, I can go back into my bar values, and we're going to add number of bars. Originally it was set to 1, so now that we have 4, I'm going to increase this number to 4. And as we did that, you can see how it added bar value 1, bar value 2, bar value 3, and bar value 4. Now one other thing that we need to do is increase our bar animation. It was set to 1, so now that we have 4, I'm going to change that to 4. And if I come down to each bar value set here and adjust it, we now should be able to adjust each bar individually with these values. Again, if you want to change a different color on each one, we can. So we'll go in and drag a different color for each different bar here just to give us a little different look. Now that this functionality is all set up, we need to give control to the trio operator or the producer to actually manipulate these within side of trio and or templates. So we're going to go into the built-ins, into our CP tab, and into the control folder. Now I'm going to drag the bars or control bars function onto the bar values. And when I did that, it automatically added this control object. So I'm going to click my control bar plugin, and here we have a last bar field ID. So since we only have 4, I'm just going to decrease that number down to 3. I'm going to turn off my exposed bars total max, and the description here I'm just going to leave the same. So I'm going to save this scene, and the next step would be to go into Trio and test this out. So let's save this as bars, and we'll hit OK, and we'll go into Trio to test this out. So first thing I need to do once I'm inside Trio is to import this scene. So I'll navigate to the scene where I saved it, and we'll import this right into Trio like that by dragging it over. If I double click on the scene here, Down here in the tab field, as I tab through, we can change each numerical value. So here's our first bar. As I come up into the editor here and adjust this, you can see how it changes the cube and the number. I come down to our second variable here, and it will change the cube and the number as well. Come down to the third variable, we can change the cube and the number as well, and then the fourth one as well changes the cube with the number. Now we can always go back and tweak this. You can see these texts are offset a little bit, so we could go back into Artist and change the design and manipulate the way everything looks a little bit. But once the functionality is there, it's set up, it's ready to go. So now the Trio operators and producers can enter their own values and have the cubes adjust accordingly.